morning and welcome to Tuesdays with the Pilgrim. Today we continue our journey with Mercy and Christiana and the four boys with Chapter 25, Part 1, Mercy and Mr. Brisk. After the Pilgrims had been there for about a week, a young man whose name was Mr. Brisk came to visit Mercy. He was a culturally sophisticated man who professed the faith, but who also stayed closely attached to the world. He came on several occasions to see Mercy, offering her his love and affection. Now Mercy had a very lovely countenance, and this made her all the more alluring to him. Mercy had a way of continually keeping herself busy doing things. When she finished doing the necessary things for herself, she would find things to do for others, such as making socks and other items of clothing for those who had a need. Mr. Brisk had no idea what she did with the things she made, and seemed to be very impressed with the fact that he never saw her idle. He thought to himself, "I'll bet she would make a wonderful housewife." In the meantime, Mercy told the woman who lived in the house about Mr. Brisk. She asked them about him since they knew him better than she did. They told her that he was a very busy young man who professed to be religious, but that they feared he was a stranger to the real power that comes from true faith in God. "If that is the case," said Mercy, "I will no longer set my sights on him, for I have never intended to have a weight tied to my soul." Then Prudence told her that she would not need to do anything to discourage him. If she continued doing what she was already doing to help the poor, his interest would surely be cooled quickly enough. So the next time he came and found Mercy working away, making things for the poor, he asked, "What, are you always at it?" "Yes," she replied, "either for myself or for others." "And what can you earn in a day?" he asked. "Oh, I do these things that I may be rich in good deeds. For those who do these things will lay up treasures for themselves, a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life." "Why, what do you do with them?" he asked. "I clothe the naked," she replied. At that his countenance fell, and he never again visited her after that. When someone asked him why he had stopped visiting her, he answered that Mercy, while undeniably a pretty girl, was overly preoccupied with the problems of the poor. After he had left Mercy, Prudence asked her, "Did I not tell you that Mr. Brisk would soon forsake you? He will probably even say negative things about you, for in spite of his apparent faith in God and his seeming love for you, there is such a difference between his disposition and yours that I doubt you will ever see him again." "Though I have not spoken to anyone about this before, I have had more than one young man take an interest in me," said Mercy. "But even though none of them found fault with me personally, they have not appreciated my priorities. Therefore, we could never agree." "In these days," responded Prudence, "people appreciate mercy in name only. The practice, which is demonstrated by your priorities, finds few adherents." "Well," said Mercy, "if no one will have me, I will die single, and my values will have to take the place of a husband, for I cannot change my nature, and to marry someone who is at cross purposes with me in this matter is something I intend never to do as long as I live. I had a sister whose name was Bountiful. She married one of these base characters, and she and her husband never got along. My sister had resolved to continue showing kindness to the poor. Her husband deeply resented her resolve to follow Christ in the way of the cross, and he eventually turned her out on the street." "And I suppose he was a believer too?" asked Prudence. "Yes, such as he was, and today the world is full of his type, but I will have none of them." Chapter 25, Part 2, Matthew Gets Sick. Now Matthew, Christiana's oldest son, became sick, and his sickness became very serious. He was afflicted with terrible abdominal pains that sometimes were excruciating. Not too far away there lived a man named Dr. Skill. He was a physician of long-standing prominence. So Christiana sent for him, and he came right away. When he entered the room and examined the boy, he concluded that he was suffering from gripes. Dr. Skill asked Christiana, "What has Matthew eaten lately?" "Eaten?" said Christiana. "Why, nothing but wholesome food." Then the physician answered, "This boy has been tampering with something that is now lying undigested within him, and it will not go away by itself. He must be purged of it, or else he will die." "Mother," said Samuel, "what was it that Matthew gathered up and ate just as we were leaving the gate at the beginning of the way? You know, there was an orchard to the left of the way, just over the wall. Some of the trees hung over the wall, and my brother picked them and ate the fruit." "This is true, my child," said Christiana. "He did take some of that fruit and eat it. He was a naughty boy, and I scolded him for it, but he didn't listen to me." "I knew he had eaten something that was not wholesome food," said Dr. Skill. "And to tell you the truth, that fruit is the most dangerous of all. It is the fruit of Beelzebub's orchard. I wonder why nobody warned you about it. Many have died from it." Then Christiana began to cry, and she said, "Oh, naughty boy, oh, careless mother, what will I do for my son?" "Come," said Dr. Skill, "don't give up hope. The boy may end up well again, but he must be cleansed and purified of the poison and vomited up." "Please, sir," pleaded Christiana, "do the best you can for him, whatever it costs." Chapter 25, Part 3. Dr. Skill's Medicine. "No," replied Dr. Skill, "my price will be reasonable." So he made a mixture that would cleanse Matthew's system and induce vomiting, but it was too weak. It was made from the blood of a goat, the ashes of a heifer, and some hyssop juice. When Dr. Skill saw that the remedy was too weak, he made another one suited for his purpose. It was made of excarne sanguine Christe. You know that physicians give strange medicines to their patients. It was made into pills along with a promise or two and a proportional amount of salt. He was to take them 3 at a time, fasting, in a cup of tears of repentance. When this remedy was prepared and brought to the boy, even though his cramps were severe, he was repulsed by it and didn't want to take it. "Come, come," said the physician, "you must take it." "But it turns my stomach," said the boy. "I must have you take it," said his mother. "I will vomit it up again," said the boy. Turning to Dr. Skill, Christiana asked, "Sir, how does it taste?" "It doesn't taste bad," he replied. Then she touched one of the pills with the tip of her tongue. "Oh, Matthew," she said, "this medicine is sweeter than honey. If you love your mother, if you love your brothers, if you love mercy, if you love life, take it." So after a lot of fuss and prayer for God's blessing upon it, Matthew took it. He responded favorably to it, and it purged out the poison and caused him to sleep peacefully. He was completely rid of the cramps, and in a short time, though still weak, he was able to walk with a cane. He went from room to room, talking with prudence, piety, and charity about his sickness, and how he was healed. So after he was completely well, Christiana asked Dr. Skill, "Sir, what can I pay you for your efforts in caring for my child?" He answered, "You must pay the master of the College of Physicians according to the rules made in the case and the services rendered." "But, sir," she asked, "what else is this pill good for?" "It is a universal pill," he answered. "It is good for fighting all diseases that pilgrims are susceptible to. When it is prepared well, it can keep you in good health at all times." "Please, sir," said Christiana, "make me up 12 boxes of them, for if I can take these, I will never look for another medicine." "These pills are good to prevent diseases as well as to use as a cure once one is sick," said Dr. Skill. "Yes, I dare say, and will stand by my word, that if a person will use this medicine as he should, it will make him live forever. But Christiana, you must take these pills only as I prescribe them. If you don't take them in this way, they will do you no good at all." So he gave the pills to Christiana for her own use, as well as for her sons and for Mercy. He then warned Matthew to be careful not to eat any more green plums, and after giving each of them a kiss, he went along his way. And we'll stop there for today. Next week we'll pick up with Chapter 25, Part 4, Prudence Answers Matthew's Questions. Until next week, take care, stay safe, and God bless.